Hello everyone and welcome back to the X-Ring. On today's episode, we're going to take a look at all three target or hit indicators on the market, so stick around. All right, so over the last 15 years, I've been able to match direct multitude of matches, everything from DMR matches to Three Gun Nation matches to PRS rimfire matches. And one of the things that's great for a competitor as well as an RO being able to spot these hits are these hit indicators. So if you're not familiar with these, basically whenever you hit the steel or hit the target, you are going to get a visual confirmation. And so as a shooter, you know that you hit it. And then as an RO, especially if you have inclement weather, guys, just think about the match last weekend that I shot with the rimfire match. We had targets out to 300. We had wind and driving rain. You're not going to hear that audible impact, which you shouldn't be doing anyway as an RO, but you've got to think about all that rain on the lenses, on the spotters and everything else. And sometimes it is easy to miss a true impact. So the gold standard for years has always been the Magnetospeed T-1000. Guys, these are industrial grade. Over the last couple of years, I've got about 20 of them that I've used in matches, and these have been unbelievably reliable. I've never had one break, but they're not in harm's way. So basically, this actually mounts behind the steel, so there's nothing that can really get impacted on the unit itself other than this prism. Now, this prism itself is self-healing. So with this clear prism material, what happens is when the bullet hits it, it actually just self-heals. I'll actually show you an example of that. You guys can see here where a bullets went through, probably a 223, but even a 308, it's a self-healing wiper. The bad thing about the Magnetospeed T-1000 is it is extremely expensive. It is $200 each. You can buy replacement parts. Replacement wipers are about $25 or so. And then one of the other things you have to consider is you do have to buy Velcro. So you're going to have the loop fasteners. You're going to have to buy some Velcro brand or some industrial grade to put on the back of the steel. The bad thing about that is usually steels are rusted, so you have to take a wire brush, get all of that clean. You'll attach your loop to the back of the steel itself, and you're just going to stick this so that the only thing that's visible is that wiper. Now, I will tell you, these are visible from over a mile away. Okay, I've had them for too many years. I can tell you over a mile away, you're going to be able to see it, but that cost kept most people from ever purchasing these. Now, a few years ago, Caldwell actually came out with the Flash Bang. It was a little over a year ago. And the Flash Bang was a similar concept. These run about $30 to $35 or so. So it was a very cost-effective solution to the T-1000. However, one of the things they did is they used green LEDs, which you guys can see here. And this mounted on the back of the steel as well, and it only exposed these little bit of LEDs here on the front. Now, the good thing about the Caldwell is it actually comes with Velcro, it actually comes with the Allen key, and it comes with Energizer batteries because it is powered by 3 AA batteries. And this was actually a pretty good unit, but eventually somebody's going to hit one of these. It just happens. I've seen it during matches, but we are also going to test that as well and see what happens and see if it just knocks out an LED. I've seen some that have been hit and they continue to work, but usually those are impacts that are just nicking at the top. You get anything in this area here, typically the unit is done and it's destroyed. But SHOT Show 2024, Hornady released the HIT indicator. They've been talking about it before, and it comes with a set of instructions, and the unit itself is very simple, okay? You have a rubber band that attaches around the target stand, okay? Now, typically you want to put it above the target, but on a lot of the longer range targets, you can't put something above it. Sometimes you have to put it below it. And so you've got to be careful with the spalling, especially if it's angled down. You don't want this to take impacts to it because it's probably going to destroy itself or get destroyed. So with this little clip fastener system, it works out really well. You just clip it around the target stand, or you can remove it from this little hook here, and what you've got is you've got a place where you can put a zip tie. The unit itself is very simple. You have one push button here that you can actually press for about 1 second, and will give you a battery indicator here. So on this one right here, you're looking at blue, and so blue means that it needs to be recharged. Green is good, blue needs charging, red, you need to charge it now. This does have a charge port. that is covered with rubber. It is a micro USB. And other than that, that's it. To turn it on, you're just going to press and hold that power button for 5 seconds. And after 5 seconds, this unit will turn on just like this. And it's extremely sensitive with the accelerometer. So when you tap it, what you're going to get is a visual confirmation. It's going to be 3 dots, then 2 dots, then a solid dash, which is actually Morse code for HIT, H-I-T. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then 1 long dash. The beauty of these things is the cost. So even on, I did a quick search, and on Midway, you can get 2 of these for $17.99. But by the time you include shipping, you're looking at about $10 each. So it is a third of the price of that Caldwell. However, if you buy a 5-pack, now you drop that price down to about $7 to $8 a piece. They're also going to be offering a Match Directors pack, which has 50 of these. So you're going to be getting them for about $7 flat. And even if it takes an impact, then so be it. But during today's evaluation, what we're going to do is we're going to shoot it at long range. I'm going to test it with a 22 all the way out to 500 yards. Because when PRS rimfire started to come on scene, we actually had stages where we saw Match Directors putting targets out at 500. The problem is, you guys might know this, you cannot see those impacts. You're not going to hear it. And none of these other indicators would really give you a signal if it actually hit, because there was so little energy, the steels were a little thicker. Well, having it on this stand, I have a feeling that having it on the target stand, that these HIT indicators by Hornady will probably go off. I'm not sure. We're going to go check that out. Now, on the Magnetospeed, you do have a couple different settings. It does more than just HIT indicator. You can also set it for near miss. So if something passes close to this, like the sonic crack out of a center fire, it will actually give you a yellow color. There's some things that you can change on the dip switch for sensitivity levels and near misses. So you do have some configurability with this. On the HIT and on the Flash Bang, it is what it is. You either hit it or you don't. So I'm really looking forward to this, and big shout out to Hornady for allowing me to review this. There's no other videos on YouTube that I've seen at the moment of people trying this, but I do want to give them a good rundown. I'm not only going to shoot them, but I'm also going to do a water test to see how waterproof they are, because let's face it, things are going to get left out overnight or get set up overnight, or a rain's going to happen while you're shooting them, and we're going to test them and we'll see how they do. So stick around. All right, so we are at 500 yards. You guys can see the shooting bay down there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to shoot these targets here to see if we can visually see it. I've put one here, and one of the things I do see that can be a problem with the HIT is these could actually twist direction like that. You'll still be able to see the face of it, but you know, aiming them can be a little bit difficult. But they're so cheap. I mean, like I said, if I've got $6 in these, I've got $18 on 3 of them, where I've got $400 on this one. And then I only have one Caldwell Flash Bang left, and price on that's about $29 from what I'm seeing. So let's go down to the 500 and see if we can see it. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is at 500 yards, I've got a 1022, just an over-the-barrel suppressor by AB Suppressors. I'm just going to shoot some Gemtech. It is a heavy-duty steel. This is not a rimfire steel, and it's at 500 yards. I still have the same HIT indicators on there, or the shot indicators. Let's see if you can see anything, or if I can hit it, which ones go off, if any. All right, guys, so that's 500 yards with a 22 long rifle, and you can see the impact. Guys, what I've got is I've got a gentleman here. His name is Mike, super cool dude. I'm going to have him look just visually, eyeballs only, at the 500-yard target. And even though I'm recording on screen and you guys should be able to see it, I want to know what he can see visually with the naked eye. So we're going to go 500 yards where the orange target is, or the orange wind flag. Here we go. Could you visually see anything?
I saw some dust flash.
That's it. All right, guys, so that's with the 6.5 Creedmoor, and you guys know what's up there. Let's try it again. All right.
There we go.
All right, so regardless of whether you're using the Caldwell or you're using the Magnetospeed T-1000, you're going to have to take your steels, and on the back side you're going to have to put some loop fastener from Velcro. All right, so now I have the Magnetospeed on the back on the Velcro. The Caldwell actually comes with its own Velcro, so that does make it nice. We are going to go ahead and turn this on, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit this so you can see from a distance that they will flash. Now, guys, this is a thick piece of steel. This is AR 500. I think this is going to measure 3/8, and we're going to shoot it with a 22 at 100 yards just to see if it will give a pickup. I'll also take the HIT and I'm going to attach it to this as well. Okay guys, so for the HIT, they actually say to place this above the target. That way you're not getting the spalling or anything like that towards the actual unit itself. You're supposed to attach it to the target stand, and I do have T-post hangers here from Best Targets. They are literally the best targets I've ever found as far as the hangers. They're made out of AR 500, but I don't have that option here. So I have no choice but to put it down low, and I should be able to see this from my shooting location. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to just strap this to the backside, kind of aim it to the shooting position. I'm going to do the same for the Magnetospeed just to be fair. Now, you cannot aim the Caldwell. The Magnetospeed actually comes with an aimer that you can place on the wiper itself. We're going to go back there with the 22 long rifle. We're going to hit this steel, and I do have the sensitivity on the highest setting on the Magnetospeed. On the Caldwell, it is what it is, and on the HIT, it is what it is. Okay, I barely touched that. So let's go ahead and go back here and see what we get. Okay, so I have the Olin going here, so you should be able to see downrange. I've got this 10-22, I'm shooting CCI standard velocity. This is right at 100 yards. Here we go. All right, so I will tell you, it is easier to see the HIT, and the reason is because it's not moving. On the sides, what I'm seeing is I could see the flash, but as it swung, then I couldn't see it any longer, but I could see all three. So let's do that again. Here we go. All right, so I could see the Caldwell better than the T-1000. So that means I'm going to have to aim that T-1000 better, but the HIT you could definitely see without any issue. All right, now let's go for the spinner. Bottom plate. Yeah, so it even registers through the actual steel mechanism of the frame itself. All right, guys, so what I want to do is I want to try to favor the edge here and see if I can get one on the Caldwell. So I nicked the Caldwell there. Let's see if it works, because that 22 just caught the edge of it. But now I'm going to be down $40. A big shout out to Manhole Customs. I actually borrowed one of these from Jamie. I told him it might end up giving the ghost up. But now let's go ahead and hit it again, and we'll hit the steel. So it is dead. It is done. That's $40 down the drain. That's money out of the pocket. I have seen some of the Caldwells take a round and then continue to work, but that's it. She's done. You know what, guys? Let me do one round on the HIT. I'll give it an attempt here. I hate to shoot it, but here we go. Okay, got it. So I actually hit it. It's done. It's dead. Let's go check out the damage. So guys, on the Caldwell, I put one right here on that edge, and you can see that we hit right here through the motherboard. Nothing's working. It's not going to work at all. On the Magnetospeed, I did not hit this blade. I think I nicked the side right here. You can see it. But like I said, it is self-healing. On the HIT, let's go ahead and check it out. So on the HIT, it is done. The same thing, it's not going to work either. But remember, now you're only out $10 as opposed to, I think, $35, $40 on this. And like I said, I hate it happened, but I wanted to show you guys, when you start hanging stuff off the targets that can't take impacts, that's what happens. But with this being that cost-effective option, that gives you a lot of different options on it. If you have shooters that are shooting either high or low, they could hit your indicators. But as cheap as they are, you could actually put a bunch of them on the target. You could put one low and put one high. And honestly, it's still half the price of one of these. Like I said, these have always continued to be the mainstay because of their design. It is very expensive. And if you're a true match director, I think this might be the way to go. There is a downside to this too. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this. I'm going to pop this with a 308 and we'll see what happens, because sometimes, now you got to remember, normally at distance you're not going to have this issue, but if you start getting these guys shooting bigger Magnum calibers, these can blow off, or it will rotate it back into the actual piece itself on the steel. So I'm going to do this. We'll get a camera on it. We'll see if we blow that off hitting it with the 308 at 100 yards. I've got the MRAD here. It is in 308. It's the barrel that I've got in here at the moment. I'm going to do one hit on the round steel, and I've got the hit underneath the steel, so we might get spalling off of that. But let's see if that Magnetospeed comes off, because they typically do when it's a lot of energy up close. Here we go. And I believe it's on the ground, but the hit appears okay, but it did knock that Magnetospeed off. And sometimes that happens, especially if that Velcro is not taken care of. Oh, and real quick, before anybody mentions the MDT Echo target indicator, one of the reasons why I didn't include this was, number one, I didn't have it, but number two, I think that price point is going to keep a lot of people away from that. I think it's over $1,000 for the base station, and you can only put 8 targets on that. And so you'd have to have one of those at each station, or you'd have to move that base station around, because it can say target 1, target 2, whatever the case is. I mean, it's a very ingenious thing, but I think that price point is going to really keep it out of there. All right, so something else you need to think about is it typically will rain anytime you're at a match, especially in the South. So I have the HIT on, I have the Caldwell on, and I have the Magnetospeed on as well. Now, these are brand new. There's nothing wrong with any of these. But when it rains, you can't go all the way down to the 1,000 yards and 900 and 800 and start pulling these off. Or if you're a match director and you set these up the night before and there's a rain, I've got to know that these are somewhat water resistant. So what we're going to do is we're going to test them for a little bit. We're going to be realistic in the beginning. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this hose here. Let's see if we can get something that more kind of replicates rain. Try not to get water on my camera. We'll just do water like this. I think this is realistic, guys, for a rain overhead. We'll do this for a couple minutes, and then I'll come back in 5 minutes, and then we'll check them again. All right, guys, so after 5 minutes of doing that, the Caldwell started flashing, and now it's not turning off. It's just flashing the entire time. Let's check the HIT. It still works. Let's check the Magnetospeed. It still works. So the Caldwell is not water resistant at all. Like I said, okay, so now that one's working. Maybe it bridged the contact, but either way, you guys saw that it would not stop. It just kept going, kept going. All right, you see that, guys? It's going off again just because of the water, and it wasn't because something hit it, because it's only supposed to flash 10 times. So yeah, something's definitely bridging a contact. Let's check the HIT. The HIT's working. Magnetospeed is working as well. All right, one more test. Guys, these are not waterproof rated or underwater rated. So what I've done is I've filled this jug up to about right here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna submerge them for about, I don't know, 5 seconds, and we'll see if it works afterwards. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to check this one. So that works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll take the HIT. You guys can see that it's working. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so we're gonna shake these off. We'll check them again and see if anything, or make sure they all work. All right, so here we go. Caldwell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Starts to get a little dim on that end one. Magnetospeed should start flashing. I knew this would work because these have been left out many, many times. And then the HIT. And there we go. So you have your 3 dots, 2 dots, and then 1 solid. So guys, I think it's going to be hard to beat the Hornady for the price. I mean, let's face it, today's economy, we're always pinching dollars, and for something that's consumable like this, I'd much rather have 4 of these for the price of 1 of these. This requires 3 batteries. This is rechargeable with a USB, and I think the price point is just right on it. I think Hornady hit it out of the park, especially if you get like a, you know, a 2-pack or a 5-pack, or I think even a 10-pack. I'm not sure all the packages they're going to be selling. These will be hitting soon. Caldwell worked out great. They need to drop down the price on it. This is also really heavy. It's not as heavy as the Magnetospeed, but it's got a lot of weight to it. This is super lightweight. You can put it anywhere, and I think kudos to Hornady for this HIT indicator. All right, so 2 days later, when you turn on the Caldwell, this is all it does, is it just flashes. If you look at the HIT, on the HIT, you'll be able to see some condensation on the inside. This is the one that we actually submerged, and what I'm going to do is press and hold the button for 5 seconds, and let's see if it turns on. And it does. And let's tap it and see if it still works. There's your 3 dots, 2 dots, and 1 solid flash. The Magnetospeed, the one that we submerged, has 0 issues. It works as it's supposed to, as you would expect from a $200 unit. The Caldwell's still flashing away. All right, so after it's all said and done, I'm still going to say that the T-1000 is the tank, okay? However, most people are not going to be able to afford these at $200 a piece. We also know that these can come off because they do have some substantial weight. If your Velcro is not in the best shape, it can fall off the target, and now you don't have a HIT indicator on that target. The Caldwell. Now, the problem with this Caldwell is it is not really that water resistant. Just, you know, a little bit of driving rain, not even 5 minutes of me hitting it with the water, it would just continue to get false indicators or stay on. You guys also noticed in the video that when I took it out the next day from getting them wet, that it stayed on like the entire time. So it was giving false indicators again. For $30, it's not bad, but they need to do something about the water resistance on it. But it is a solid unit, but eventually you're gonna hit these. And at $30 a piece, it does add up quite quickly. Now, I do like the direction that Hornady went with these in that they're so inexpensive. That's almost disposable. We did see the impacts all the way out to 500 yards using a rimfire on heavy-duty steel, not really lightweight rimfire steel. So kudos to them on that. However, one of the things that I'm going to have to mention about this is if they are going to sell this in a 50-pack to a match director, then what they need to do is come up with a Christmas tree style plug-in so that you can charge, let's say, 10 at a time. Because let's say if you had 50 of these at a match, trying to charge them individually off of a little USB cord is going to take forever, and you got to think about the power sources. So if you could come up with 1 block with 1 wire that maybe had 10 branches on it or 20 branches, I think that would really alleviate that problem. So that's something maybe they should look into. As far as Hornady, big shout out to them. They've always been a huge sponsor of the channel, and I can't tell them how much I do appreciate it, because now I have all 3 of the HIT indicators to be able to give you this evaluation. Now, these aren't quite available yet. You'll be able to find them on Midway, but most of the dealers don't have them in stock. I think they're going to come in stock here in the next week or so pretty regularly. And even on Midway, you could only get 2 packs at this current time. So I hope you guys enjoyed that review of all of the current HIT indicators. And if you're a match director, I'd heavily look into some of these because you could put 2 on each target and you would be good to go, especially for rimfire. So you guys take care. Have a great week. We'll be coming back at you from Blade Show, Texas, down in Fort Worth. You guys take care and have a good one.